Viewer discretion is advised. Also, headphones are highly recommended to watch this series.
Okay, it froze again, but whatever. It froze like not too far past and I was able to recover the file, so it's all cool. But in this all-consuming darkness, I had no way to tell what it was.
指でこね回すとペタペタして本当にお米のようだ。
It felt an awful lot like a grain of salt. Rice, not salt. Rice, though. Even smushing and smearing like one when I needed it between my thumb and forefinger.
って何これ？皮膚？太ももの？やだ。
What is this thing? Skin? From my thigh? Crap, I hope not.
あ、明るくなった。
Huh? The lights.
やだ。何この部屋。
Oh God! What is this place?
匂いが強烈なわけだ。部屋の四方の壁という壁、床という床に血しぶきのようなものが付着している。
The source of the horrible smell was suddenly clear. The room was absolutely drenched from wall to wall and ceiling to floor with blood and human viscera.
どれだけたくさんの血液が飛び散れば、これだけの範囲を染めることができるのか。
How many gallons of blood must there have been to coat this entire room?
しかも乾ききっていない。つい最近この部屋は使われている。
And the worst part was, none of it was dry. It was all wet. It was all fresh. And this is about the time when I finally realized, oh, recorder stopped.
そこら中に得体の知れない肉片や骨っぽいものが転がっている。一体どんな恐ろしいことが行われている部屋なのだろう。
There were indistinguishable chunks of flesh and bone everywhere. Just what kind of twisted things was this room being used for? Definitely the first time I'm reading this, because I don't remember reading that.
さっきから太ももがかゆい。また指でかいてから私はふと自分の足を見た。そして全身の血が凍った。
I scratched my itching thigh again with my finger, then looked down at my legs, and all at once, my blood ran cold. Oh God, you better not show something. Oh God, don't show me.
かゆくて無意識にかいていた私の足に白い小さな虫がびっしりとついていた。
A white swarm of little white bugs was wriggling around on both my legs. Oh my God, that is disgusting.
指の腹にも潰れて2匹、スカートにもソックスの上にも靴と足の隙間にも。
That's what I squished between my fingers. But there were many, many more. And they were also on my skirt, on my socks, and even inside my shoes.
パニックを起こして私は虫がいっぱいついている靴を脱いで振りはたいた。
I fell into a state of total panic. I threw off my shoes and began frantically brushing myself off with my arms.
スカートの裾を掴んでソックスの端をつまんでバタバタはたいて虫を飛ばした。
I grabbed the hem of my skirt and the collars of my socks and shook the hell out of them too, trying to knock as many bugs off my body as I possibly could.
よろけた私はソックスのかかとで赤く濁った水たまりに踏み込んでしまった。頭が真っ白になる。
Stumbling around, I accidentally planted the heel of my sock into a murky puddle of wet red liquid. My mind went blank with disgust.
気持ち悪い気持ち悪い気持ち悪い気持ち悪い。
Gross, 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 gross! I can't take this anymore!
落ち着け。ここはきっと屠殺場だ。食用の家畜を解体して食肉にする場所だ。
Calm down, Sayaka. This was just a slaughterhouse. This was just a place where livestock was chopped up into meat. You just keep telling yourself that, yeah, and there aren't any dead bodies in the halls that you just wandered around.
だから自然なんだ。この部屋の存在は別に不自然じゃない。この血は、あの肉片は、あの大きな骨の塊は動物のもの。
It was perfectly natural. There was nothing unusual about this room at all. The blood, the chunks of flesh and bone, probably all just from some animals. Yeah, just keep telling yourself that. Can I leave? I can't leave. Oh boy, don't, okay.
大きな観音開きの扉がついた戸棚がある。私くらいなら中に入れそうだ。
It's an enormous standing closet with double doors. Someone my size could most likely fit in it in a pinch.
部屋の至るところに汚れたバケツが置いてある。
Filthy buckets littered the room.
大腿骨のようなものがたくさん刺さっているもの。ブルブルした黄色や白い実のついた赤黒い肉の塊が詰め込まれたもの。
Each one was stuffed with reddish black globs of meat in quivering yellow and white liquid. In most of them, femur-like bones adorned the surface.
直視できないそれらに混じって。
But one of them seemed to be far more horrid stew than others.
私は見つけてしまった。人間の腕が数本刺さっているバケツを。
And that's because one of them was full of arms. Human arms. Several of them jutting out above the bucket lip and practically waving at passerbys.
人は悲鳴を上げるときは意志の力を必要としないんだ。
Screams are strange beasts because they basically override all sense of logic and reason with a person's mind. And really, my green screen's acting up again? Whatever.
ごく自然に驚くほどオートマチックに私の体の奥からお腹の底から悲鳴が絞り出されてきた。
Quite naturally, quite automatically in my shock, a scream forced its way out from inside my body, from the very pit of my stomach.
全身の感覚が針のように敏感になっている。部屋の外の通路からかすかに誰かの足音が聞こえたような気がした。
My senses had become razor sharp. I could faintly hear footsteps approaching the hall outside the room.
胃がキュンと縮んで脱 していた悲鳴が途中で止まる。
My stomach tightened, stopping the next scream in my throat. Oh boy.
確かだった。部屋の外の通路を何者かが近づいてきている。足音からしてナオちゃんじゃない。
I was sure of it. In the corridor just outside this room, someone or something was coming this way, and judging by the sound, it sure wasn't Naho.
無意識に情けない声が漏れ出して、私は慌てて口を塞いだ。
Another scream threatened to slip out. I quickly stifled it. The last thing I needed was to give away my position.
どうしよう。近い。
Whoever this was, getting close. Oh, whoever this was getting closer and closer. I had to act.
外の通路は一本道になっていたから、外に逃げ出すと足音の主に見つかってしまう。
The hallway outside was just a straight
過
shot,
すしかないよ。
so escaping this room without being seen wasn't an option. Hiding was my only hope. I'm getting the feeling a timed event's about to happen, so I'm gonna just do that. But hiding where? Oh, never mind. Okay. Do Solid Snake again.
足音が迫ってきている。私は部屋の奥の大きな棚の前に駆け寄った。
Wait. That wasn't a good idea. Wasn't that how the one guy got caught? Oh, crap. The footsteps were approaching fast. I ran over to the large cabinet on the other side of the room.
お願い。開いてよ。
Please, open.
扉は難なく開いた。しかも勝手に閉じてくれる。
The doors opened without difficulty, but they were the sort that automatically closed when left unattended. Oh well. No time for second guessing now. That don't sound safe.
私は後ろを向いて、お尻から体を棚の中に押し込めて、閉まりかけの扉に指をかけ、勢いをつけて引っ張った。
I turned around and jammed myself in, first, into the closet, grabbing the edges of the closing doors with my fingers and pulling them for all my worth. Shh. You need to be quiet, Sayaka. God, you need to be quiet.
狭い棚の中に身を潜め、足音が部屋を通り過ぎてくれることを祈る。
Shrinking my body into the cramped closet, I prayed silently for the footsteps to pass by this room.
だけどよくよく考えると、この部屋の電気をつけたのがこの足音の主なら、この部屋に用があるってことになる。
But then, the person making those footsteps was probably the same person who turned on the light in here, so I didn't honestly hold out much hope.
悪い方に考えると、どんどん頭の中が真っ黒になってゆく。
Rapidly, my thoughts grew darker. Worst case scenarios began flashing through my mind, one after another.
別の生き物のように勝手にカチカチと動く口と、引きつけを起こしたように震える肩を必死に掴んでなだめながら、
I grasped my quivering mouth and violently shaking shoulders in a vain attempt to calm myself down.
私は目をキュッとつぶって、漏れそうになる声を飲み込んでいた。
I clenched my eyes shut and willed myself to swallow any sounds that may otherwise have been leaked out.
ちゃん助けて
No. No, please help me.
扉の隙間から部屋の中の様子が伺えた。
That's not a good
通り過ぎ
idea.
てと願った私の祈りを蹴散らすように部屋の中に誰かが入ってきた。
I peeked through the gap in the door, and my fears were confirmed. I was no longer alone in this room. This is not a good idea at all. You shouldn't be peeking through crap. Shh!
部屋に入ってきたそれは異様なものだった。
The thing that was in here with me was horrible.
人というよりはなんだかよくわからないもの。
He
ゾ
seemed
ッ
not
とするものが入ってきたような驚愕とショック。
he seemed not quite human, but not really anything else either. And whatever he was, I was scared to death of him.
いや、確かに人の姿だけど、現実離れした顔も、異常に大きな体も、私の想像をはるかに超えて恐ろしかった。
On second thought, maybe he was human. He just had a grotesque face and an abnormally large body, not to mention a zombie-like disposition. He was horrifying. You know, those kind of people can hear those thoughts. And if that guy hears your thoughts, you're screwed.
その男は気絶していた様子の女の子を肩に乗せていた。
He had the limp body of a girl tossed over his shoulder.
部屋の中央にあるあの血まみれの机に歩み寄ると乱暴にその子を投げ落とした。
He walked over to the blood-covered table at the center of the room and violently threw her down onto it. Oh no, I know who that is. Oh no.
女の子が苦しげなうめき声を上げて覚醒する。まだ生きているんだ。
Letting out a moan of agony, she came to. My God, she was still alive. Her legs had been severed at the thigh, like completely cut off. How could anyone do something like that?
男が女の子の上に馬乗りになって机についている高速具のようなもので右腕、左腕と自由を奪っていく。
The man straddled the girl and tied both her arms into metal restraints attached to the table.
待って、何をする気なの？
No. What was he planning on doing to her? Oh no, no, no. He's coming this way. No. No, no, please, no! The man passed right by the standing closet, instead turning his attention toward the nearby corner of the room where he began rummaging through a toolbox.
工具箱のようなものを乱暴に引っかき回し始めた。金槌や霧などが床に散らばって、女の子の乗せられている机の下にも転がり込む。
He was utterly careless about it, tossing aside any tools he didn't need. Hammers and drills were clanging on the ground, with some sliding under the table.
荒い動作でそれを回収する。あそこに隠れていたら、きっと見つかっていた。
Each time a tool fell, he'd bend down and scoop it up. If I had been hidden under the table, I absolutely would have been found just now. Whew!
Next time on Corpse Party, Book of Shadows.
What was happening? Oh,